The moves have names? Dude, throw the whole fucking first video away. I've barely even started and I'm already cancelled. But I did already film this. And I actually read the wiki this time, so let's get into it. Now, those of you that watched my Pantheon of the Master walkthrough may remember how I said that I used the same charm build to beat the first two Pantheons. Now, that wasn't a lie, but to be honest, the second Pantheon was by far the easiest of the first three for me. I beat it nearly immediately after the first, so I didn't give my build much thought at the time. After playing it a couple more times for this video, I realized something. Ranged attacks are pretty important for quite a few fights here, so I swapped out Long Nail for Soul Catcher in order to generate spells more often. Otherwise, my charm build is largely the same. Wait. What are you doing there? What the fuck? Okay, sorry. Otherwise, my charm build is largely the same. As a recap, and for those of you that didn't watch my Pantheon of the Master video, this is the rest of my build. Unbreakable Strength, Soul Catcher, Shaman Stone, and Quick Slash. Do keep in mind that I do have all notches unlocked, so this build does presume that you do as well. And let's just jump into it. Alright, so the first boss of this Pantheon is the guy I always confuse with Markoth. Zero exists solely to make you feel like absolute shit about how bad you are with the movement mechanics in this game. Try to avoid hitting him from the side if you can, as sometimes it'll knock him back super far, and you don't want to do that if you're trying to kill him quickly. Hitting him from below is better. But don't overly concern yourself with how fast you can kill him. Prioritize using your dash to get away from his blade attacks first and foremost. Another really crucial thing here is that he stands still for a pretty long time when summoning his additional blades, and it's super easy to get a couple of Abyss Shrieks off on him. If you land those, he should die in a few hits. Sometimes he blinks or gets pushed out of the Abyss Shriek, and I don't understand what causes it exactly, but the earlier you start spamming that move, the less likely it is to happen. Crystal Guardian is the false knight of Pantheon 2. All I can really say is to Shadow Dash through him when he charges up his beam attack and hit him with a Shade Soul if he gets too far from you. That's really all there is to this fight, he dies super fast. You can hit Soul Master with an Abyss Shriek right as he spawns, and from then on, it's just a matter of trying to get close enough to hit him, because this fucker likes to teleport. I like to position myself in the middle of the arena so I can dash to wherever he teleports more quickly to get more hits in. You can either use this time to heal, or point and laugh. It's up to you. You can get some hits in here if you're feeling cheeky, but it's absolutely not required. What I do is follow the beat he makes. When I hear the slam, I'm already up in the air for my first jump. Now, you can spam him with Abyss Shrieks here if you really want to end this fight super quickly, but I personally prefer to leave this fight with as much soul as possible, and for those of you that know which bosses are next, you probably know why. Next up are the Obols. Wait for them to align close enough together that you can hit them both with your Shade Soul. The hitbox on your spell is large and extremely forgiving, so this shouldn't be terribly difficult to do, it just requires a bit of patience. The best way to approach this fight is to alternate between damaging them both so you can finish them both off at the same time, as one of them does get a health boost when the other dies, so it's best to whittle them both down pretty far first. If you damage both of them consistently throughout the fight, it'll be much easier to kill the second in its frenzied state. And no, sorry, I don't have a special method to avoiding their spit attack. It's dumb and stupid, and I hate it too. Mantis Lord's fight is so much fun, and I always have a blast with it. These guys gave me so much grief in my first playthrough, as I'm sure they did for a lot of you too, but don't forget that you have a lot more movement available to you now, and if you utilize it, this fight becomes fairly easy and a lot of fun. I found this a lot more manageable when I kept my knight to one side of the room, so I always knew where to expect attacks from. You can theoretically hit one of them with your nail with the boomerang move, but I've personally never been able to pull it off. You can Abyss Shriek here instead if you want some extra damage in, but personally, I usually just wait these moves out. And do remember that this is the last fight before the hot spring, so feel free to go crazy with your spells. Now, up next is Marmu. As I was practicing this fight, I came to a realization as to why I had a much easier time with her in my regular playthrough. Having Quick Slash equipped makes you want to flail your nail around like a goddamn idiot as you wait for her to get close, which, trust me, does not net good returns for this fight. Just be patient and bounce her way like a beach ball once she gets close enough. She doesn't have much health, so this fight ends fairly quickly. Now, the corner strat you guys see me using here is something I read on the wiki, and I did it here to show you guys, but honestly, I take about the same amount of damage either way, and the fight ends quicker if you stand in the middle. The idea behind this is that you know she's only coming from one angle, so it's easier to prepare for her attacks. Now, immediately with Nosk, you guys see me hitting it with 3 Shade Souls right away. There's no particular tactic to that, I just hate this boss with a burning passion. Don't bother following it, just stand on the middle platform and pogo when it crawls up to you, Shade Soul when it moves away. Now, if you look closely at the top of the screen, when he climbs on the ceiling, there's a visual dust effect to show where he is. Use that indicator to avoid the rain attack. Now, the best way I found to deal with his eruption attack is to pogo directly off the middle of its back during. You won't get hit if you get it right, but it's pretty difficult to position. You can make that move easier on yourself by double jumping immediately after the initial pogo. You're guaranteed not to get hit by the infection, provided you jumped quickly enough. By the way, I complained about Hornet jumping up a lot to meet you in the last video, but this guy is a million times worse about it. FLUKEMARM, just hit her. It's probably smarter to hang out on the platform above the one that I use here, but it's personally what I'm used to, and I like that I only have to deal with the mobs from an upward angle. Makes things easier for me. Hit her with a couple of Abyss Shrieks when she's near death, and she goes down super quickly. Up next in the Hall of Erratic Jumpers is our Sib Broken Vessel. Stick this fight out even if you feel like you need to heal, because even its non-dream form is going to tilt the fuck out of you if you try to. He doesn't move super fast and telegraphs his moves pretty well, but if you're still afraid, try standing further away and let him come to you. Now, I've only ever seen it use its infection spam move when it's near death, so don't be afraid to face tank this move if you have the masks for it. Now, Shio is a really fun final fight to cap things off for this Pantheon. His paintbrush actually changes color based on the attack he's about to do, so keep that in mind. If you have trouble dodging the paint splashes like I do, especially from his red and blue attacks, do your best to save your shadow dashes to dash through them and not have to worry about dodging. You have to jump up to avoid his yellow attack unless you somehow end up behind him, and the pink attack has a deceptively long range, so be careful getting too close to him if you see him charging that up. He does also have 2 staggers during this fight, and you can use them if you need to heal. Now, this fight was a lot of fun, and I had a much easier time memorizing his attacks than I did with Oro and Mato, probably because of the color association. Once you get the hang of them, dodging them becomes fairly easy, and he doesn't do any extra crazy phases or anything, so with a little bit of practice, you should get this fight down fairly quickly. And that was the Pantheon of the Artist. Thanks for watching, and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. If anyone would be interested in seeing individual boss fight guides, let me know in the comments down below.
My Christian heart can now withstand the thundering arena. I see you when the violence ends, for now cha-cha bambina.